Welcome back, Patriots. Welcome to Sons of Liberty 1773. I'm in the house today. I'm not going over to my office because I caught the bug in the Lansing swamp. Hopefully, I think I'm feeling a little better. Renee has me drinking vitamin C. I avoid people and I never get sick. I go down to a crowd, I get sick. I'm a germaphobe. I was using the hand sanitizer and everything, but there were some body tight places I was in down there, and I thought if I don't get sick down here, I'm not going to get sick. But and thought I got out of there without getting any viruses, but apparently the bastards got me. So let's jump to it, folks. A lot of news going on. Number one, the Dow is free falling. Home Depot and Walmart came out with really bad reports. No one's buying stuff. They have no money. They're living hand to mouth. It's all falling apart, folks. I'm sticking to my New Year's resolution, or my New Year's predictions for 2023. Not my New Year's resolution, but my New Year's prediction for 2023, that we are heading for the greatest depression in World War III. Hope I'm wrong, but I haven't seen anything to change my mind. In the Dow, if I didn't say it already, it's down. It's heading down well over 600 points. Still early, though. It could change. The Fed will get in there and start manipulating. So the Biden administration, this is at the Epic Times. So Biden administration negotiates deal to give the World Health Organization authority over U.S. pandemic policies. This one's actually quite frightening, folks. This would be the first step in a one world government. The Biden administration is preparing to sign up the United States to a legally binding accord with the World Health Organization that would give the Geneva-based UN subsidiary the authority to dictate America's policy during a pandemic. Despite worldwide criticism of the WHO's response to the COVID pandemic, U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra joined with WHO Director General Tedros, can't pronounce his last name. But anyways, what this would be is they would set the law and the criteria during the next pandemic, and they would have the authority, not with me, to say, they're going to have absolute power. Everybody has to take the jab, whatever the new demonic mix is that they want us to inject into us. Circumventing America's Constitution. Whoever drafted this clause knew as much about the U.S. Constitution, about U.S. constitutional law and international law, as the writer of this article does, and deliberately drafted it to circumvent the power of the Senate to give its advice and consent to treaties, to provisionally bring it into force immediately upon signature, Boyle said. In addition, the Biden administration will take the position that this is an international executive agreement that the president can conclude of his own accord without approval by Congress, and it is binding on the United States of America, including all states and local democratically elected officials, governors, attorney generals, and health officials. I call bullshit. I don't care what their international law is. It doesn't supersede the United States Constitution. And if he pulls this, no one's going to follow this. They can go pound sand. And if the blue helmets come over here, there'll be a lot of them laying on the ground with holes in them. So that's that. Watch that, though. That is kind of frightening. Biden announces, he went over to Ukraine, over to his laundromat. Told Zelensky he'll give him another $500 million as the infrastructure in this country falls apart. Won't protect our border, right? Free reign. Come to America and, take whatever you're going to do. Biden announces $500 million in new military aid to Ukraine during surprise visit. President Biden on Monday announced the U.S. would be providing $500 million in additional military aid to Ukraine during a surprise visit to Kyiv. And he teased new sanctions to crack down on entities aiding Russia's war efforts in the country. And that's worked so good, Joe. You're just making Putin, you're going to cause America to no longer be the world reserve currency. Biden is a human wrecking ball. Biden appearing alongside Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky touted the sizable commitment of military equipment the U.S. and its allies have already provided Ukraine in the years since Russia first invaded. Next, Biden in Poland says U.S. and allies have Ukraine's back. And during that speech when he was over Zelensky, he said, we're in for the long haul. You know, Russia's not going to win. You know, he's drawing a line in the sand, you know, that they're not going away and they're not going to let Zelensky fall to Russia. So that means we're full in for World War III. I don't know any nice way to say that. President Joe Biden returning on Tuesday to the Polish castle, where he spoke shortly after the Russian invasion of Ukraine last year, said the war had hardened Western resolve to defend democracy around the globe. Is that our job, folks? George Washington would say no. He warned that there were hard and bitter days ahead, but pledged that the United States and its allies would have Ukraine's back as the war enters its second year. Victoria Newland, she is a warmonger extraordinaire, says, if the page will open up here, Victoria Newland clarifies that the U.S. supports Ukrainian attacks on Crimea. Victoria Newland clarifies, I want to make it crystal clear, that the U.S. supports Ukrainian attacks on Crimea. Victoria Newland, the Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs, said last week that the U.S. is supporting Ukrainian attacks on Crimea and called Russian military installations of the peninsula legitimate targets. So she's an evil woman. Putin suspends New START treaty. Here's what Putin thinks about our meddling in Ukraine and Joey coming over there and saying, we've got their back, we're in it for the long haul, we're not going to allow Russia to win. Putin suspends New START, it's a nuclear treaty, START nuclear treaty, puts nuclear missiles on combat readiness. So they are DEFCON 1. If they have a DEFCON system like America, they are ready to launch. That's where Russia is right now. I don't know if people, there's so much nuclear talk and apocalyptic verbiage, into the world stuff that it doesn't really hit home anymore. We're just kind of becoming immune to the rhetoric. But folks, we're the closest we've ever been right now to nuclear world war and the annihilation of humanity. I mean, it could literally happen now. That's how close we are. So President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday suspended Russians' participation in the last remaining nuclear arms control treaty with the United States. Russia put new ground-based strategic nuclear weapons on combat duty. Xi Jinping planning Russian visit as Ukraine war shows no signs of slowing. Xi Jinping, the Chinese communist, they lie, said, well, they're going to go over and try to make a peace deal. No, it's what he's saying he's going over there to meet Russia for. He's going over there to figure out how they can help Russia and get them more arms. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. North Korea state television has aired footage of their recent test of a new long-range ICBM system capable of carrying a nuclear payload. So North Korea does have a sophisticated nuclear weapons program, and Iran is really close to them. Iran reportedly, on cusp of making nukes. They've enriched their weapons-grade uranium now to 84% purity. That may be some speculation. I've already thought that with Russia and North Korea and probably China helping Iran build the bomb, that they're really close, and they may have them now. And you know what they're going to do with the bombs, the Iranians? Death to America, death to Israel. They said they're going to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. They're going to launch a nuclear attack. So before they can, America and Israel are going to attack their nuclear sites. Mark my words. And I would assume really quick this year, maybe in the coming couple weeks, but this year for sure. Residents say they're broken out. This is in East Palestine, Ohio. Residents say they've broken out in rashes after East Palestine train derailment. No kidding. I would get out of there. I mean, I know it sucks. Everything you have is there. I would grab my personal stuff, and I'm in my bug out bag, my guns, and I'm in the car, and I'm not going back for a long time until I'm absolutely convinced it's safe. And I don't know when that's going to be, folks. I don't know what the shelf life of these contaminants are, but I expect it's months and maybe years. Ohio metal factory explodes, kills one, injures over a dozen. This was a really bad explosion in Oakland, Ohio. One person was killed, more than a dozen were injured on Monday after an explosion at a manufacturing plant caused a catastrophic fire. So that's it. We're heading, keep prepping. We're heading for definitely World War III and an economic, an economic nightmare. I mean, I believe we're heading into not just a bad recession, not a Great Depression, but the greatest depression. And I have seen nothing that changes my mind. And I believe we're heading for World War III. We're in it now. It started. You can see the players joining hands, the good and evil, and it's going to be World War III, and it probably will be nuclear in some fashion. And that could happen this year. Until I see peace in Ukraine and that hot spot go away, I'm sticking with my prediction. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. I am going to get some rest. Maybe you'll see me tomorrow if I think I'm getting over it. Hopefully I'll be hitting on all cylinders tomorrow, and I'll see you then. So keep the faith, Patriots. Definitely keep prepping. Like people when they ask AP, Alaska Prepper, how much do we need to get AP? He says stack it to the rafters, your preps. And that's the advice I give. I used to tell people 30 days minimum in preps, but now it's a year. And I don't know that that's enough, folks. And if you're on a budget, you just start buying bags of white rice at Costco or Sam's Club or wherever you can get the 25, 50-pound bags of white rice. Store it. There's different ways to store it. If you got a dry place, I mean, it's probably fine the way it is in the packaging it comes in. Dry beans, and you can do that. You can stock up on a lot of rice and beans for not a lot of money. And then from there, just start building. But time is short to be getting your preps together. When I was in Lansing, I just thought our government is so freaking broken. I just don't know that we're going to fix it. Hopefully we do, right? Let me put it this way, that we're going to fix it using the system that's in place, as corrupt as it is. Can we fix America with them corrupting our system from every level? The local, state, federal, judicial branch. It's all corrupt as hell. So I have my doubts. I think we're heading for the next American revolution, but we'll see. I prefer to peacefully take our country back. And the path to victory for me, because the country, I don't understand how there's so many communists in this country, but we're like 50-50, right? Plus or minus 50-50. Is that the greatest depression in World War III may stop people from voting for Democrats. And then maybe it would be, 80-20, and we could take our country back that way. So for me, the path to victory leads through hell. I know you don't want to hear that, but that's my thought on how to wake people the hell up. Until it bites them in the ass, they're just not paying attention. All right, that's it. Keep prepping and keep praying, my friends. I will see you in the next video. God bless you all.